You don't know, not straight away. It just feels warm and comfortable, and you hang in there and give it a chance. Before you know it, you're like, yeah, this is it. Must be love.
I don't agree. I think you know immediately. You know, as soon as your eyes... Then everything that happens from then on just proves that you had been right in that first moment. When you suddenly realized you had been incomplete and now you were whole.
Imagine Me and You is a quintessential rom-com from 2005. When Rachel meets Luce's gaze for the first time as she is walking down the aisle, no less, there is an immediate connection that is only reinforced when they bump into each other at the reception.
I'm Luce.
Rachel.
I did your flowers.
You did? My flowers are nice.
Is there something wrong? I'm here to help.
My ring. I was getting some of this patch crap and...
Your wedding ring.
It fell off.
Luce clearly made an impression because Rachel comes by to thank her for the floral arrangement again and on impulse invites her to dinner.
Real name Strelitzia, named after Charlotte of Strelitz. She married King George III, had 15 kids. They never spent more than an hour apart.
Okay, stop talking.
Do you want to come to dinner?
Sorry?
You know when you've just met someone, but straight away you feel as if they're going to be your friend? Who knows why? Past life, physiognomy. But for some reason you just kind of click. And this is my plan.
Oh, no.
I thought we'd get Coop along.
Great idea, excellent, but what would be better if we didn't do that?
Oh, I think they'd be perfect for each other. Do you think they'd be perfect?
What's revealed at dinner is that Luce is gay.
How about you? Married? Ever been married? Ever gonna be married?
No. Maybe now the laws have changed.
How do you mean?
I'm gay.
When Rachel finds that out and is then brought back together again with Luce through a chance meeting, it ignites in her an awareness that her interest in Luce is not as platonic as she had assumed.
I think that we should talk about something. It's just, I don't know, when I'm with...
Yeah, I do have to go. Actually, I just realized I've got delivery.
Oh, yeah, right.
Her feelings are spiraling out of her control and she is torn between these feelings and her husband.
So I'm here because I don't know what's going on. You make me feel something I absolutely cannot feel. Can't actually do this. So whatever it is or was, it's got to stop, and it's got to stop now. Do you understand?
This film among the lesbian film canon is unique. While there are other beloved rom-coms, this one, as I have said many times before, is the most mainstream from the movie production quality, with how the cinematography effortlessly mirrors the popular straight versions of the genre, the script with its expected tropes, its formulaic story progression from the meet cute, fate bringing them together, the obstacles to keep them apart, and this is hardly a spoiler, but skip ahead a few seconds if you don't want to know how the film ends, the last-minute declaration as one of them is about to leave the country. You know what I'm talking about, you've seen it 100 times before. It squarely hits that mid-2000 British rom-com vibe similar to the movies like Notting Hill, Love Actually, and Bridget Jones's Diary, even the 90s film Four Weddings and a Funeral, to name a few, where London is so beautifully showcased it makes you want to go live there. Everyone is just a little bit offbeat and delivers some delightfully dry one-liner quips in that charming English rom-com way.
Evie, are you gay?
Oh, God. Am I gay? I'm ecstatic.
In essence, it's wholly unremarkable and it fits into all the conventions, but also happens to be gay. Delicious. Other lesbian rom-coms are all essentially indie affairs, and as a consequence, this has the distinction of being the most polished of the lesbian offerings, and while I initially eschewed it because of that, over the years I've come to appreciate this film a great deal more, and realize that my bias against rom-coms was a mixture of internalized misogyny, because anything made so clearly for women must be inherently terrible, something I learned through osmosis as I marinated in our patriarchal society my entire life, and although I found Coop especially annoying on this latest rewatch because no means nobody, like, give the converting lesbian shtick a rest, oh my god. Removing the man as a love interest makes this genre about 1000% less toxic and problematic from a feminist point of view. So basically what I'm saying is we should have a lot more lesbian rom-coms like this, and damn it, we probably won't, because society seems to have moved on from these kinds of bigger budget rom-coms, and they now seem to exist almost exclusively in the B-grade realm of Hallmark and low budget streaming. The casting overall was strong, and you'll notice some familiar faces in there. Notably, Rachel is played by Piper Perabo, who played Gay in Lost and Delirious. Luce is played by Lena Headey, who went on to be in Game of Thrones. Rachel's dad is played by Anthony Head, who was Giles in Buffy, and that casting was most certainly on purpose because of the halo effect from the Willow and Tara storyline. The entire cast is dotted with familiar faces, from Rachel's mum to Bertha and Edie, faces you'll recognise if you watch enough British film and TV because they pop up all over the place. While the cast may not have been international A-list actors like, say, Julia Roberts or Hugh Grant at the time the film was made, there are still some well-respected actors in there. And the quality of the actors shows in the quality of the film. I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the chemistry between Rachel and Luce when I first watched it, but over time and after multiple rewatches, I'm feeling it a lot more today than I did back then, because the emotional through line of the movie is there. It's cohesive, and you can believe the evolution of Rachel's feelings for Luce as she comes to realize what feelings she was having when their eyes first met. Maybe my change of heart is partly because it has that comforting familiarity of a story I already know, paired with the simplicity of these kinds of films, where the only thing you really need to worry about is finding the courage to get the cute girl who clearly likes you too. Now that I'm well into adulting, I admit I wouldn't mind living in that world. Although it's not a particularly diverse world, it has to be said. It's predictably white, rich, with eccentric stock characters. It was the mid-2000s after all, and diversity was a token affair back then. There is, of course, also the fact that Rachel is freshly married, bringing in the extra thorny obstacle. While the film does paint Heck as a lovely guy, taking pains to not make him a villain by any means, his relationship to Rachel is characterized as passionless and tantamount to the leather chair they buy together. A bit worn, ever so comfy, but perhaps not quite right even if Rachel is determined to make it work in the space. And it's not right for Heck either. It shows how he too has sacrificed to be with Rachel, both in the job he has and giving up on the dream to travel, thus laying the groundwork for his eventual departure. Speaking of which, I do wish that Rachel had been the one to end things with Heck, simply because it is the stronger choice for the protagonist, although she did pretty well in driving her own story on the other fronts, from making the initial invite to dinner to initiating their first kiss and finally standing up on top of the car and giving us the iconic sentence, "You're waking up!" effectively creating a nice little motif around the idea of finding one's voice and shouting it from the rooftops. So overall, a satisfying film if you're in the mood for a rom-com. It won't revolutionize your world, but then again, it isn't meant to. It's feel good, and I think it could well be spoken of in the same breath as classics and not be out of place as the queer addition to a list of worthy British rom-coms. If you want to check the film out, a number of countries have it available on Amazon, for which I have a link in the description. I've also linked to a website which could help you figure out where else it's available in the world, although if the website is correct, it's not available in the UK right now, which is a travesty. But just remember, a VPN is your bestie. Either that or get it on DVD so you never have to worry about finding it and accessing it again. Until next time, lady lovers.